Just running through what we might expect from the budget on Wednesday. Have you had any inkling today from your sources about prospective tax cuts, maybe?
Well, what they're trying to do, that's the Chancellor and the Prime Minister, is build up towards a 2p tax cut on personal taxes. Now, that may come across income tax and national insurance, but what the government and what the Prime Minister and Chancellor are trying to do are trying to know how to find the money to fund that. Now, it might be a 2p off national insurance that they've tried to do. That may be one option, but they're just trying to find that money down the back of the sofa to actually fund it and actually see if it will make a difference to those polls.
Yeah, Ryan, I actually had an argument with somebody last week about when we're going to have a general election in this country, because nobody quite knows. But this does seem likely to be the last budget that Chancellor Jeremy Hunt could deliver before an election. He might get another one in autumn, depends when they hold it. So how politically important is this budget that we're going to get on Wednesday?
It's absolutely vital. It's an imperative that Jeremy Hunt delivers a good budget that is well received by the British public. When there's that poll out this morning, as you mentioned, 27 points behind, and when you're that far behind, you really need to have a good day on Wednesday. So when Jeremy Hunt goes to that dispatch box, he really needs to pull a rabbit out the hat. But if it is just those income tax or that national insurance cut that he may be looking at, he may have trouble ahead. We go back to the autumn statement where he introduced that 2p cut on national insurance, and it didn't really make a dent in the polls. So if it's just going to come down to tax cut when the public are clamouring for improvements to public services, then he's got another thing coming, and he's really got to go back to the drawing board.
Now, Ryan, we've collared you from inside Central Lobby this evening. You're actually going to run over and join us in the studio here for the end of the show. You're quite the man for doing that. But remind us why you are down in Westminster this evening. What is happening there at the moment?
Well, over in the House of Lords, there's some big votes coming up on the Rwanda legislation. It's currently in the upper chamber just behind me. There will be votes later on tonight, but we've already had a couple of votes already where the government have actually lost. They've lost on the peers who actually want to make sure that the legislation and anyone who goes back to, who gets sent to Rwanda, that country is a safe place. Now, lots of the Lords, Ken Clarke including, is saying that this law, even if it is passed, will be challenged in the Supreme Court yet again. Now, when this legislation actually goes to the Lords, there'll be some amendments. It will then go back to the House of Commons. There'll be some ping-pong between the two houses. But eventually, the Lords will back down. And the Commons and the Prime Minister will want to see this legislation through by the end of March. And you may have planes taking off for Rwanda just a few weeks after that.
Ryan, thanks for the update. Get your running shoes on. We'll see you here in about 40 minutes' time.